Welcome everyone to another edition of the Showcase Pod. I am Don Vega, joined by the boss Chris Blackheart, on the verge of what was Marchivesary 17.
Marchivesary hangover.
Yes, indeed. A lot of people were hangover. First of all, thank you to everybody that came out in Taunton, sold out crowd, like we said, every year. Marchivesary a sellout this year, nonetheless, no exceptions. We saw the return of the commissioner, John Cena Sr.
Yes.
And a lot of surprises. So we're gonna take us back on a road to a recap of what happened last Friday night actually in
Well, it almost filtered over. It was one of the longest Marchiversarys we've had in a while, which we do let the time go just because it's our big show of the year.
Mm-hmm.
And I think some things were settled, some things were started, and some things are questionable.
Yeah, definitely. The night kicked off with the match that everybody was talking about: student, teacher, Christopher Spratt defending the Sons of Liberty Championship against Daniel Cabral. You want to take us back down memory lane? What your thoughts are on that match?
I personally think it was the right match to put first. Now, some people disagreed with that. We had junior
who cares
bookers,
about
we
that?
had junior bookers online.
Who cares about
complaining.
that? Let's get into the match, the action in the ring.
It's the match that I wanted to see because I thought the story between the two, the relationship, the feud, and I was very surprised at the ending.
Well, with that being said, we got a new Sons of Liberty champion. Danny Cabral pulled it off. We saw Christopher Spratt try to use the ropes for leverage there towards the end of the match, and then he got surprised with that roll-up, and it cost him the match.
And this is when a good official can make or break a match. The official caught him with his feet on the ropes.
Yeah.
Spratt was surprised that he got, and that is, I think, was Spratt's mistake. He was surprised and stunned that he got caught, and then Cabral rolled him up for the 1, 2, 3 there.
And before that, we kind of got ahead of ourselves. Before that, we saw the presentation of the big note from Harvard University. Daniel got expelled.
Danny is out.
He's out.
And people are upset about that.
He is out, but he is the new Sons of Liberty champion.
So, I think that's an even trade, to be honest with you, when it comes down to getting kicked out of Harvard, Sons of Liberty championship. I think I would take the championship.
I definitely know this ain't the end for the educator Christopher Spratt. I know, the type of individual that he is. He must be plotting already on getting a rematch for that title. He is entitled to a rematch as the former champion. We just have to wait and see if that rematch is going to come soon. Is it going to come in the road to the gold? What's going to happen? We'll have to wait and see.
Oh, you just put a little cliffhanger out there. People like, road to the gold, what is that? Well, guess what? You're going to have to find out. It may happening today.
We'll get into it later on.
Stay tuned all the way there. But no, that feud, and we didn't even mention it, right?
Yeah.
And that story with those individuals is somebody else in there that wasn't there, at least in that match. And there's so many twists and turns with this, but Danny is a Sons of Liberty champion. He's happy. Spratt is pissed.
Well, we'll find out how happy he will be when it continues on. And, are we having technical difficulties here? Okay, all right. So there we go.
I kind of like it over.
Yeah, you want to hog the mic, you're just making sure that you're not
Well, I'm just making sure it's working, because when we have two mics, half the time people are like, hello? Hello?
Usually your mic's not working. But going back to, Danny being happy, we'll just see how long he's going to be happy for, because like I said, Christopher Spratt definitely has something up his sleeve. We'll just have to wait and see. You don't want to talk about...
No, I'm not disagreeing with you. Spratt has been studying all week, he said. He's been in study hall, private tutoring.
Yeah.
So he's literally going back to the basics, hitting the books, and Cabral, you better watch out.
Well, that was our opening match of Marchivesary 17. Moving on to our second contest of the evening, one that you were looking forward to. You know, you thought you would get a fast one again. I don't know what you guys were plotting.
What are you talking about?
I don't know. I mean, these surprises.
Wait. You and your partner said you would challenge anybody and everybody.
Yeah, of course.
And that it didn't matter. Well, then
Usually
it doesn't
when
matter.
We challenge somebody, it will get announced going towards our big event. But no, it was a big mystery.
Right. See, you always blame me, right? I didn't see you yell at or have comment words with Mr. Cena. I didn't. Mr. Muldoon, I didn't see any phone calls
person to me.
Okay, well, no,
every
it was
week,
just,
so you know.
As a unit, they said, nope. Why don't we just let's see how good they are.
That's fine,
it was a good tag team match. The Wave came in.
So you had the Wave, guys from New York, guys from tri-state area, and there were two good competitors. They came in thinking that they were gonna outsmart Puerto Rico's Most Wanted. That remains to be seen yet.
No, I mean, I would like to see the rematch. It was a strong match, high flying. The crowd liked it. You guys were wearing some new gear. You know, I will commend you. It was a really good showing of tag team wrestling, which is one of the focus that Showcase Pro Wrestling will be going with a couple of organizations down the line. We'll make those announcements coming in, but we have some work relationships with some various organizations, and we're trying to rebuild what pro wrestling tag teams used to be.
Yeah.
And you are part of it. You are representing Showcase Pro Wrestling, so I commend you for the win.
Well, yeah.
Let's see how often you can do that.
We'll see how often we get more surprises. We'll see how often we get newer tag teams coming in. And, we're looking to revamp the tag team division. And not only here, I mean, there's other companies out there that
I think that's the key part.
Are looking to do the same. And like you said, we're looking to go there. They come here. It doesn't matter. We'll get it done. Third match of the evening, if you want to recall that one.
Either way with this match, right? So you have Rambo versus Sean Candido. Now, Candido may not be believing this, but I was actually rooting for him.
You were rooting for Candido?
Candido.
Okay.
Well, because let's put it this way. He's an older guy.
Yeah.
You know.
You're being biased.
You're an older guy. Some days, he doesn't get the credit that he deserves. He's an older guy. He's been doing this for over 20 years. He can still go. He can hang with anyone on the roster. And he did. But he came in second that night.
Well,
which is nothing to be shy. Rambo is an up-and-comer. He's a young guy. He's been around for about 3 years. He's cocky. He's arrogant. He's athletic. So to come in second, as much as it hurts to take the double L, it was still a really good, competition between the two. So Sean Candido, when you're out there, don't feel bad about coming in second.
Yeah, there's no shame in that valiant effort, which was a valiant effort. And there was times where Rambo was over arrogant and cocky, and he almost got caught several times during that matchup. Yep. And he definitely pulled it off. Candido, hard-fought match, and I'm sure he'll be back for more in the coming weeks. We got some comments. Here on the page from
Who do
Jamie Rivera. He says hello all the way from Lawrence, Massachusetts. Hello to him. We got, who's this? Cowboy Luke Casey. He says, hope to see you guys in the future. You know who that is?
That's Cowboy Matt Casey's kid.
Oh, okay, all right. And we got Ronnie Ribbs. He's joining us. He says, or an older tag team. Well, it could be old, new, or, we're open. So those are the comments that we got. And like you said, Frank's on here too. What's up, Frank?
Which Frank?
Frank Rocha.
Frank Rocha, right?
Yeah, so, Rambo definitely proved that he was serious about what he said, keeping his streak going, and we'll get into that as the show goes on.
Yeah, Rambo had a long night, and we'll literally capitalize on that.
Get it. And remember, you have to follow us on social media, SP Wrestling, to see the shows coming up on YouTube. You know, Marchivesary will be available, and you don't want to miss all the surprises and everything that went on that night. You want to catch it when it comes on YouTube.
Besides following us on social media and YouTube at SP Wrestling, there is a Facebook group, is Showcase Pro Wrestling Fans. That's one of the first pages we put stuff on. So if you're not on that group, send a request. We'll approve it. And you know, literally that's getting the download quicker now. And that's just not, that has to do with wrestling news, you know, any events coming up that will showcase pro wrestling talent. So it's really, it's like the inside track. If you want to know it quicker than social media, go and Showcase Pro Wrestling fan page.
And speaking of following, you know, I'm seeing the YouTube channels up to 972 followers.
Oh, we're getting there.
You're trying to get to 1,000. You know, we tried to do that before Marchivesary, but guys out there being lazy, you know, we get the watchers.
All right, hey Ronnie, if you're out there in New York, you have some new people that hasn't been following us. We have some guys coming from Ronnie's school that came down. So I am sure there's like 26 people from New York that can actually check it and subscribe.
Yeah, we get a lot of the watchers that
watchers
like we said before.
What do? They go in the corner.
They watch and they whisper, but they don't subscribe. I mean,
right.
if you wanna go balls to the wall.
Well, no, you better watch out, because the deal was, once we get to 1,000, we're gonna have an open topic, and we'll let the fans choose a topic, and then we'll go live with it. And that may.
Yeah, we'll talk about anything on the show. I mean, I've had conversations with people that get upset at certain guests that we've had in the past, but you know, this is separate to anything else that we're doing with Showcase Pro Wrestling. This is a podcast. It's an open field for anyone to come in, you know, and whether we like them, whether we take them out to dinner, whether they hang with us every day, it doesn't matter, you know.
Well, I think what it is, it extends a branch. And some days it mends fences.
Yeah.
And some days, as we said in wrestling, is about having a conversation that you haven't had. So, and people were surprised, some of the guests that we had, and that's a good thing.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, surprises are always good, you know. And speaking of surprises,
I'll be honest with you, I don't like checking the mail on Friday.
Oh.
You know, it's not I can do. If you get bad, when have you ever got good news on Friday? You know?
I mean,
ever get fired on a Monday or a Tuesday? No, they let you go on Friday, right?
well, yeah, I mean,
That's what they used to do with the Ford plant, you know.
I mean, speaking of surprises, we also saw the six-pack ladder match.
Well,
your favorite match.
I did not see the six-pack ladder match.
Well,
I will be seeing it via footage. I did listen to the whole match.
Yeah.
But I did not see the whole match.
Well, you know, we definitely. I saw the six-pack ladder match. You know, that feature AZ, the consistent one, AZ, D-Rex, Osiris, Dr. Roger Williams, of course, was the YouTube world champion, and the return of Chris Matrix, and Jay Evans. Yes. So you know, a lot of crazy things. I'm not gonna spoil it for the people watching. Because we do want them to go watch the footage on YouTube, but we do got a new YouTube world champion. You want to talk about that? Or?
What time was it?
Probably past
9:16.
Probably past his bedtime.
D-Rex, if Mom didn't tuck you in, watch out. Don't trust anybody.
I mean, I think he's tucking himself in now. I saw pictures of him.
His father sent me some disturbing pictures, man.
Yeah, pictures of him cuddling with this belt.
Yep, and there's him on the swing outside.
Jesus Christ.
Oops. Yeah.
You know, he's taking that belt everywhere. I mean, I think he's gotten a cheerleading competitions with the belt. Mini golfing with the belt. I mean, this is.
All right. I mean, that's.
He's going to school with his belt.
I mean, we did have a talk though that it's supposed to be YouTube. It really is a social media thing.
I mean, if I was him, word of advice, I would keep that belt at home and I will stay home for the upcoming weeks because, as you know,
yes,
The YouTube championship is 24/7 rules, so he could be literally sleeping, and somebody could go and try to take that belt away from him. He could be at the park. He could be in the mall. He could be anywhere. I mean, I would take a hiatus if I was D-Rex right now.
So why don't we put it out there? If anyone sees D-Rex with the belt and you're not under contract for Showcase Pro Wrestling, if you defeat him, you will be under contract. So it's an unofficial job opportunity.
I mean, we could see him right now leaving the studio later on. But you have to have a referee on site.
Well, you have to have a referee, and it has to be recorded. You can't say it happened, because if it's not recorded, it's not documented. If it's not documented, it may not never happen. You know.
So what, are you going to look for footage? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, we need footage to make sure that people can see it.
Oh.
Because these can lie. This doesn't.
I got you. See what you're saying. So, we definitely want to know if D-Rex gets into any issues. We want to make sure that's legit, that he's a double loser, because the double L brings double loser at times.
That is true.
That was an interesting matchup.
Hey,
and
should we give the kid a heads up about his dad? Hey, D-Rex, watch out. Your dad is professionally trained wrestler for 2 weeks. Wink, wink.
2 weeks? I thought it was 2 days.
Oh. Actually, that's even worse.
You're giving him a lot of credit.
All right, D-Rex, don't worry. There's nothing there. If it was 2 weeks, don't worry.
There's nothing to worry about at that point when it comes to home.
Yeah, well, he may be able to bump on you, so watch out. But if that referee counts, check the laundry, D-Rex. See if there's any extra ref shirts hanging around that house, man.
So, after that ladder match that had you at the edge of your seat you were a little nervous, a little concerned.
I do not like that match.
We moved on and we went to, I believe,
intermission.
Intermission, and to open.
I love intermission. Intermissions is a great time.
There's nothing happening there.
What?
What happened
during intermission? People can support some of their favorite Showcase Wrestling stars. A lot of them have some great merchandise coming up. We had different merch tables out there. Puerto Rican Most Wanted. You guys have stuff out there then?
I had stuff. I got sabotaged though.
Why? What happened?
I don't know what's going on, but I'm gonna have to have some people at my table.
Then you better write them down. But Mr. Cena had some
whoopie pies. Did you get a whoopie pie?
I did not get a whoopie pie. I did see him. Supposedly,
we gotta try. We gotta try the whoopie pies, John. So next show, you gotta bring Blackheart and I a whoopie pie.
No, he brought them. And just by the time the show ended, they were gone, and John was gone too. So
he loves getting in and out. So.
He's in and out. But no, I mean it was great. The crowd were really happy to see him. Some kind words, and it's ironic because there's a picture that shows up around this time of the year, and is John with my kid. Is when the kid was probably I don't know, 5 months old, which is this big.
Okay.
Then they took an updated one, so
that's cool.
Yeah, it's just memories like that. I'm not a picture guy. I don't like taking pictures with talent or other, but stuff like that. That's kind of nice to reflect.
Yeah, it is definitely. Time goes by quickly and it flies by, and before you know it, it's gone by
Say that again.
Quite some time. Going back from the intermission, we went on to the big one.
I do like the gauntlet, and that went very smooth.
The gauntlet for the gold.
Very smooth.
Over 30 competitors this year in the gauntlet for the gold.
Over 30 competitors. Everybody had music, so we figured out a formula of how to get it done, and kudos to Dan Badandi. Dan Badandi was number one. Stayed out there almost 40 minutes.
Yeah. He got his cardio on.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, Danny. I don't know how much cardio you do, man.
Some chop fest out there, too.
I give you credit for that. It is. And that's the part I like about the gauntlet is that even if people don't like people, you've been out there for 40 minutes, they have to respect what you did.
Yeah. So, we saw, like you said, Dan was out there for 40 minutes, drew number one, drawn by the fans.
Right,
by the
maybe
fans
maybe we should go
themselves.
win that. So how we did it, we sent somebody out to grab 2 names randomly. Frank held them, told me who the 2 were, so we could cue up the music, get the 2 guys going. But the fans legitimately were pulling the names. The guys did not know who the names were. I didn't know who it was, but the flow of it was really good. Because a lot of times we don't do music because it is hard to cue up 30, playlists from 30 guys.
Well, Blackheart's usually lazy. This year we found
No. It's
we
a
found the
formula. It's a
recipe.
pain in the ass.
We found the
It's a
formula.
pain
It
in the
was
ass.
smooth. You said it
was.
yourself.
I did.
so
No, it was smooth,
you-
and it only took. I think we've been doing this format for about 13 years, roughly. So, it worked out well.
It worked out. So we saw a lot of new talent. We saw some of the trainees from the Showcase Pro Wrestling Training Center made their debuts at the Gauntlet for the Gold. We saw the return of the SOG Ronnie Ribs, who entered the Gauntlet, and he looked great. He looked in great shape.
Yeah. So anyone in the New York area, look up. I just blanked. Is it UWE? Ronnie, if that's incorrect, please pop that. But they're out in upstate New York. They're starting to get everything going between running a school, running a promotion. We have our guys going out there at the end of April, which is good. And no, that's a good part about the Gauntlet. There was a lot of new guys who were in our program for roughly 6 or 7 months. They made their debut. It's nothing like it, And I told them that. I said, there's 3 things you remember in life. The first time you walk through that curtain, the birth of your child, and maybe your first marriage.
Well, I don't know what that feeling was.
Yeah, well,
speak for yourself.
no, but 2 out of 3 ain't bad.
Yeah, it is.
But no, it is.
UWE, it is the promotion for Ronnie, and you can check that out on social media. We'll get into the plugs. We'll plug that. But yeah, Gauntlet for the Gold was crazy. Over 30 competitors. Mm-hmm. Of course, we saw Daniel stay in there for.
Yeah, you did pretty well.
For 40 minutes, and I was myself and Alex. We were in those final 4 competitors. You want to talk about the final 4? You want to talk about who was the winner of the Gauntlet?
You were in there. If I'm not mistaken, it was you 2, was Jay Evans.
Yes.
And Rambo Godfrey.
Yeah.
So those were the final 4, and I would have thought that maybe you and Alex would have been the final 2.
It could have, miscalculations happened. I did get eliminated by Jay Evans, but Rambo did a lot of running in there.
Well, that could be the theme.
He was doing a lot of running and dodging, and then he maneuvered his way in there, and eventually, ultimately, he did get the W. He did get the victory. He did get to cash in that guaranteed opportunity for any title.
So I give him credit for that, and that's the great part about winning the Gauntlet. He could have done the tag. He could have done the YouTube. Now, with the recent, it's not even a recent change in his attitude, I wouldn't have been surprised if he cashed in for the YouTube that night. He loves social media. Let's be honest with it, it's kind of easy picking with a young kid,
Oh yeah, like I said, I don't want to spoil how this happened, but you'll have to wait and see in the next couple of weeks. Go to the YouTube channel, subscribe, and watch Marchivesary 17 when it gets dropped on our YouTube. But yeah, definitely Rambo cashing in big there with the win in the Gauntlet for the Gold this year.
Yeah.
That takes us on to our main event of the evening. Showcase Pro Wrestling Heavyweight Championship was on the line in a stretcher match as Brother Moon Revan defended the title against Big Matt Thompson. He had that belt for a year. Unlike Spratt, 2 champions that held on to those titles for a year, from Marchivesary 16 to 17.
That's an impressive run.
So both Spratt and Revan both with a year title run in their respective championships. We saw a hard-hitting fight all over the building. We saw chairs, we saw tables, we saw all kinds of stuff. I know you love all that stuff. There was chairs flying, there was bodies flying. I mean, what are you giving me that look?
I'm just thinking of this coming Saturday for Powerhouse and Mr.
Oh, there's gonna be chairs flying. There's gonna be all types of stuff.
Mr.
But
Kennedy,
we're still in Marchivesary.
Yeah.
We'll move on to that.
All right,
when we
yeah,
come
I'm
to
gonna
the
have a
plug.
conversation.
But I did see 280 pound, 6'5" guy flying and took out like 4 rows of chairs.
You know how to ruin the night, don't you?
You love that, don't you?
No, I don't.
I mean, the people loved it. It was a hard-hitting match from beginning to end. And then at the end, Matt Thompson choke-slamming Brother Moon Revan into that stretcher and just pushing him over that line and becoming the new Showcase Pro Wrestling heavyweight champion.
I would have to say congratulations, but before I said it,
Before you said it, anything can happen. And Marchivesary 17 closed off big as we saw him get crowned the new champion. Mm-hmm. We also saw Rambo Godfrey coming from the outside of the building and attacking Matt. Not only attacking Matt, but attacking him all the way to the ring, hitting him multiple times with the belt, spearing him 3 times, and finally getting a referee and cashing in his opportunity. And yes, we do have a new Showcase Pro Wrestling heavyweight champion, and that guy is the notorious Rambo Godfrey.
Very smart of him. Very smart, very methodical. And when you look at all the titles that changed that night, you guys, not that you got lucky, but almost every title except yours changed that night.
Well,
you know, and Thompson and Rambo, they have history. Now we have with Revan. So I think there's 2 people that are rightfully so can be pissed at Rambo.
Oh yeah, I mean definitely. As former champion, you are entitled to a rematch. So again, that's another situation that we will have to wait and see what happens. When does Revan decides to get his rematch? Well, Thompson, as a former champion, they also is entitled to a rematch.
Well, so technically, Thompson is entitled first because he was the last.
Yeah, so, Rambo's got to be thinking of a plan for that right now because he's got 2 pissed off guys that are coming for him. Nonetheless, everybody else is gunning out for the heavyweight championship.
I mean, should we talk about that now, or no? That's another conversation. That's another episode. We should talk about that.
What's that?
Well, we can go over some upcoming dates, but
we'll go. Yeah. We'll get into upcoming dates right now. Actually, before we move on to the month of April, you were antsy, you were desperate. This Saturday night, we're in Leominster, Massachusetts, at the Elks for Powerhouse Wrestling New England. And I believe we got the commercial. If Danny wants to play that now, we'll go to that and we'll be back right after that. Powerhouse Wrestling New England returns this Saturday night, March 23rd at the Leominster Elks Lodge in Leominster, Massachusetts. On the card, the return of former WWE superstar Mr. Kennedy Ken Anderson. Also in action, the real one, Enzo Amore. MLW star, ECW original Nunzio. The Powerhouse Wrestling Women's Champion is on the line when Evie De La Rosa defends in an open challenge. MLW's Ray Jazz, also the Puerto Rican Punisher Don Vega, and many more. This Saturday night, March 23rd, Elks Lodge in Leominster, Massachusetts, 134 North Main Street, 7:30 p.m. bell time. Get your tickets at Powerhouse Wrestling NE right now. Don't forget this Saturday night, March 23rd. Get your tickets now. Powerhouse Wrestling Live. Get plugged in. You better be there. There you have it. This Saturday night, Powerhouse Wrestling New England returns to the Elks Lodge in Leominster, Massachusetts. And when I say return, we were in Leominster many, many years ago at the Armory. Ran different venues in Leominster. First time here at the Elks. But it's going to be a great card. Mr. Kennedy, Ken Anderson, Enzo Amore, a whole host of others. And like you said, big street fight. You're going to tell them to bring some chairs, bring some tables, all that good stuff?
The promoter in me is saying no.
Yeah. But
the wrestler in me says yes. And
okay.
that's the problem.
Well, we got to give the people what they want, and we're planning on doing that this Saturday night when I take on Mr. Kennedy in a street fight. But yeah, nonetheless, you could get your tickets, Powerhouse Wrestling, any online, use the QR code, and they will also be available at the door this Saturday night in Leominster. I know the commercial before that had the wrong date. It said the 24th, so I've been getting a lot of people reaching out. Oh, is the show on Saturday? Yes, it is. It's still on this Saturday, March 23rd in Leominster.
It happens. We've all done that, but I think it's nice we would do a reach out. You know, and say, hey, by the way, are you guys running that Sunday? But hey, we've all made mistakes, and some days the video always looks good, the post looks good, and they're like, oops, I've got to do that,
Yeah, sometimes, we have so many dates mixed up here.
Yeah.
And speaking of dates, we go into April, and our first event of April is on April 12th. You want to talk to the people watching about that one?
April 12th, we're up at BVT Middle School, High School up in Upton. That is a Friday show with a 7 o'clock bell time, not 7:07.
Not 7:47.
Not
7 p.m. bell time.
Right. They wanted to do it the time that they want to do it due to time restraints, that they want to do a little bit early on a Friday. I like going a little bit later. Mm-hmm. But it's a fundraiser for the class. The idea of it is we're going to do it for the next couple of years, build up the relationship, which is awesome, and that's just build up the kitty for the class fund, which is phenomenal. But those are at showcaseprowrestling.com. General seating, which you can basically use anywhere, but ringside is $10, and then you also have ringside, which is $20.
That's going to be a great card there. You're going to get to see all the stars of Showcase Pro Wrestling. The Wave will be in action. The debut of Brian Starr, all the way from New York City. He's going to be in action. So, it's going to be a great card, great time.
Mr. Cena is supposed to be.
Yeah, John Cena Sr. will be on hand, the commissioner.
Yep.
I mean, who knows who's going to show up?
Well, we're going to be announcing. There's could be some big people coming.
No, we'll find out. That's April 12th in Upton, Massachusetts. All the info, Powerhouse Wrestling. You see? This is how we get all the mix. All the info, ShowcaseProWrestling.com.
I would be happy to buy the domain and forward it to Showcase Pro Wrestling.
For that.
Sorry, Mr. Staro.
Then the next night, on the 13th, we're back at the Showcase Pro Wrestling Training Center and Arena in Woonsocket, Rhode Island, for live wrestling there. We've been seeing a lot of new faces come up to the training center and arena, a lot of new fans. So we expect to see a lot more on the 13th showing up there. There have been some great cards, too, so you're missing out.
I mean, Woonsocket, a lot of times people think it's a sleeper, but the action's been hot. You literally never know who's showing up. That is, I call that the factory. That is where things happen. Stuff's being built. Experiment on matches, and it's a great environment.
Well, last time we saw a preview of the Gauntlet for the Gold there, and some surprises. So don't miss it out. April 13th, 126 Main Street in Woonsocket. That's Saturday night. That's 7:07 p.m. bell time on that one.
Correct.
There we go. Bringing us to the 20th. We're back. In Taunton, Massachusetts.
Okay, yep. We are. Do you want to announce how?
Yeah,
the big card of that night.
We'll give them what it is.
We'll give them a taste.
And then they have to follow and continue watching weeks to come. But April 20th, back at the Taunton BFW Hall, 82 Ingle Street in Taunton, Massachusetts. The Road to the Gold tournament returns on that night. Matches, I believe some of the qualifying matches will take place on the 13th
in Woonsocket, and then that is a Saturday. So we're lucky enough to slip in on a Saturday. So that's a 7:07 bell time. Tickets are on sale right now for all the Showcase Pro Wrestling event at showcaseprowrestling.com, and I'll get them quick now because we'll be announcing the format and the card of the week. We're not going to do it tonight, but...
Yeah, well, you have to stay tuned.
Yes.
Have to keep on watching. Like I said, the weeks to come, we're going to be announcing some matches. And like we said, we got a lot of scenarios. I mean, with new champions, rematches, all these things that are going on, anything could happen. And it might start at the road to the goal. So you could only wait and see. Right before that, on the 19th, I kind of skipped that one through. RCW, Royal Crown Wrestling, returns to Peabody, Massachusetts on Saturday night, 7 p.m. bell time, with the genocidal superstar, ECW original, Sabu, will be on hand on that card. And you can find out all the info for that one, RoyalCrownWrestling.com for tickets. Royal Crown Wrestling on Instagram and Facebook. So don't miss out on meeting the legendary hardcore icon Sabu. He will be in Peabody, Mass on April 19th for Royal Crown Wrestling. Going back to, Marchivesary, what are your thoughts completely on this whole event? How that you felt 17 years, going into a new season, basically.
I always see Marchivesary as the beginning and the end. Because a lot of times we're wrapping up some feuds. It's the beginning because a lot of times guys are starting their career out by having the Gauntlet for the Gold, which is awesome. And everything kind of gets reshuffled, which I like. So with that being said, you just got to watch it. You got to be there live. Now, unlike the stuff that you see on TV, Showcase, where we are a live event business. Yes, everyone likes seeing the videos, everyone likes seeing the footage, but we are a live event promotion.
Yeah.
So if you're not there, you miss it. And
yeah, we've had people ask, and we're open to different scenarios and formats, but we are a live event business. There's people that have asked, is it going to be streamed? Is it going to be live streamed? There's something in the works maybe for Patreon where we could stream this stuff. If you can't make it to the show and you want to be in the comfort of your home, then, it works both ways. And coming up in the next couple months, we'll have some info on how those things are going to come about and work out.
So we're working on it. Some days, ironically, the biggest problem some days comes down to the internet, which you would think nowadays is not a problem. But if you look at Franklin's a great venue, but the internet there is terrible.
Yeah.
I mean, you literally cannot get internet in that venue, and people don't know the story behind it, but ask anyone who lives in Franklin. They have sent out like Verizon and T-Mobile. There's something about that area that they don't know what it is. So it's...
Oh, yeah, definitely a lot goes behind the live streaming. Like you said, internet service has to be on point. And, it takes a lot of work and effort from multiple people. Yeah. So, in order to provide that, we would have to, have it through some type of source like Patreon or whatnot.
Chris, too. I just want to say thank you for letting me be part of my second Marchivesary. So a lot of people don't understand, man. 17 years, that's a long time. Most promotions don't even last a quarter of that. That's an amazing feat.
Yep. And you can thank Mrs. Blackheart for that one.
Indeed it is. I mean, she's put up with not beating you up for 17 years.
Apparently, I'm not nice when it comes down to Marchivesary. So.
Oh, you're not nice?
Well, supposedly. I don't know.
Are you nice the other day?
No, I guess so. It's
or you're just not as mean.
I guess not as mean. No, but it's like anything else. We have a very set time frame that day when, and some days you don't. Yeah. You can't properly address how people want it, or But But ironically, she does her things in the front. We do our stuff in the back, and it usually comes, pretty well.
Yeah, definitely worked out for the best that night, and it'll work out for the best coming up in our April events that are stacked up. Going into the summer. And speaking of the summer, if you're out there watching and you want to bring pro wrestling to your organization, whether it is a fundraiser, whether it is a campground, whether it is anywhere.
Any outside venue, if you want to do a wrestling show, hit up everything on SP Wrestling.
Yeah.
Promoter at showcaseprowrestling.com. And we'll put something together. I mean, we work with multiple promotions, so you tell us what you want, and we'll put it together. Literally from the tall to the small, to the ugly to the pretty.
Oh yeah, I mean, you could have any type of character showing up in our showcase pretty soon.
Oh, we have new we have new talent coming down the line. We have new characters, new personas. So yeah.
Well, some personas are personas that were old and are going to be new again. Because, you know, some...
New again. They could be good again.
Good again.
Again.
Making them great again.
Making them great again.
You know, because some of the other people that portray it might not be the fitting individual for that character. And if you don't own the rights to a certain character, you know, it makes it difficult
or if you can't even fit into your character anymore.
Well, yeah, I mean, all those things definitely stand out when you're trying to portray a character, but we'll get into that pretty soon. Actually, you know, that's a good topic to talk about since we're here.
Are you sure?
No, I'm not gonna talk about the whole scenario. I'm just gonna bring it up, you know, because we've seen a lot of stuff in the past where gimmick infringements and you know, people selling merchandise and all that scenario. When you have a trademark, I mean, you could seriously get in trouble for those things.
Yeah, no, you know. Look at WWE; they lost their name.
I mean,
years ago
to their name.
World Wildlife Federation.
They recently with the Yeet, with that shirt and the merchandise that you know, an independent guy had trademarked the rights to all that. Yeah. So they had to pay him pretty penny to keep it going. So you know. We will get into that as time goes on here, and you know, not to say that some people are going to be getting some.
You know, maybe we'll have a podcast on the business of pro wrestling.
Yeah,
that could be good. We'll get some people on here regarding the ins and outs of things that people don't think about. You know,
you should think about these things if you're going to have merchandise and.
Listen, you should be thinking about things
and make things a wrestling angle and gimmicks and all this stuff. You know, you should definitely trademark all those things before.
Well, you should just not be a shithead, to be honest with you.
I mean,
you know, no pun to anything that recently happened with, you know, Vincent Kennedy McMahon, but.
What, taking shit on people?
Yeah, and that wasn't a reference to that, but just in general, you know.
You want to P.O. box me some stories?
No, you know, I don't like shitty people. I don't.
Oh,
you know?
Okay. Yeah. Well, you know, at least some people will be getting P.O. box, some certain mail.
Oh. I used to have a P.O. box. My dad used to have a P.O. box. He had like 2 of them.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, 1939 and 1050 up in Brockton.
Did he get any books?
He used to get everything, like, cause he had like the little one, you know, the normal one. Then he had a bigger one. So yeah,
definitely an interesting topic.
Yeah,
but yeah, definitely. You know, a lot of things happened at Marchivesary. What a great night that was, and we're gearing up for Saturday night. You're gonna be there. I know some of the guys are on the card as well. AZ, the consistent one, will be on the card. Christopher Spratt, Danny Cabral will all be on the card this Saturday night in Leominster, Mass. That's going to be a great show. You want to get your tickets, like I said, at Powerhouse Wrestling NE. Is there anything you want to talk about? Marchivesary, future, all these things that are happening now?
No, I mean, I think you did really good. I mean, usually the summertime we try to go into the outside mode, where some of the relationships we've had in venues that we run at, you know, like Cumberland Fest, they are still taken down against the old, not ski lodge, but the ski lifts. So Cumberland Fest will not be in August, so we're trying to replace time like that in August. So any fears, festivals, anything like that, reach out. You know, we're up to doing
definitely will do it.
And it's good, you know, and even, like, ironically, some of the stuff that we have coming up, it comes down to relationships. You know, we're trying to, and I'm terrible with time now, but it comes down to, I think, the VFW, people forget about it. We started at the Elks over there And when the Elks sold to Walgreens, literally the Elks transferred over to the VFW, and then we just stayed there.
Yeah.
You know, we're there for 12 years, and that's our relationship based. I mean, that's just based on our relationship with the VFW. And, you know, the fundraiser we have coming up, the relationship that we had with a guy training with us, you know, and he's like, hey, you guys do good business. Sat down, put something together really nice for everybody, you know, and then, because it gives back to bringing back to what wrestling used to be. We always talk about the 90s, early 2000s, a lot of, you know, fundraisers were done, and they haven't been doing them, you know, so they're starting to come back with different organizations, which is good, you know, so, and we've worked a lot of organizations doing it. We just want to pick up the ball and start running with it.
Yeah, definitely, you know, something to think about for other organizations that are thinking of doing events like this, to just give it a try, give it a go, you know, and you'll get great results when you're working with somebody that has the best interest, and it's a professional group providing, you know, professional talent and a good quality event. Speaking of events, before I forget, tomorrow night, actually, in Fairhaven, Massachusetts.
Oh, okay. Forgot about people.
Our old stomping grounds near New Bedford and all that. You know, we have Micro Wrestling All-Stars. They will be at the Seaport Inn in Fairhaven, Massachusetts. That's going to be a great night there. If you've never been to a Little People Midget Wrestling show, make sure if you're in the area, check that out.
They're hot. I mean, I don't understand it some days. But everybody enjoys themselves. The shows I've gone to, people enjoy themselves. The talent works their ass off, you know, for it. So it's a niche product.
Yeah.
But go out there, you know, great company. You know, we have a couple of guys work for a couple of midget companies, but the micros that you work with, good guys, good crop.
They put on a great show.
Yeah, they bust their ass, and literally don't piss them off. Enjoy the show, watch the show, and I would say, in all fairness, watch your mouth. You should be doing that anyway, because everybody has their phones. And you do not want to get the shit kicked out of you by a midget. You know? I'm just warning you, enjoy the show, but don't piss them off.
You don't want to have a 300-pound ass in your face by a grumpy guy with a huge ass like
why don't you put that stuff out there? That why don't you tell them some of the events that you've seen recently at the events that you like shaking your head.
Yeah, I mean
that was one of them. When I saw that, I'm like...
I mean, the weird part about this whole thing, you know, like I said, Meatball, if you haven't seen Meatball, you could type it in on YouTube and go search him, you know, the world's biggest ass on a midget. There's people that pay to get stink face.
What?
And majority of the people that get paid for that are guys.
All right.
Majority of all the people that I've seen pay for the stink face has all been guys. And I've been working for them for the last year and a half.
Yeah.
I think I've seen one girl.
Well, I did see that in Newport.
Yeah.
When the women got in the ring.
You should have seen the guy that was at Wally's, man. That dude looked like he was so excited, and he got his beat all the way up on his butt crack. So, you know, that was... quite the sight. I was waiting to see chocolate chips in his fucking.
So literally anything can happen.
Anything can happen when you go to Micro Wrestling All Stars. Yeah. And if you're a hardcore wrestling fan that's watched wrestling from all around, you'll get to see, you know, probably one of his only New England appearances, Masquerita Sagrada, the legend, you know, midget wrestling from Mexico. He's on board for this tour, so you'll get to see him. It's a cool show. Go check that out tomorrow night in Fairhaven. Chris Blackheart, we're getting to that time where we're close to wrapping things up for this week. Next week, we got a guest. We'll announce it halfway
You announce
through.
it now, or do you announce it on social media?
I mean,
Well, why doesn't our guest actually announce it on his social media?
we'll all announce it on social
No,
media.
why isn't he announcing? If he doesn't announce it, then we're not having him, okay? If he doesn't announce it on his social media, then we're not announcing it.
He will, but yeah, we'll have a guest. I don't know if he's gonna come in studio or on camera. We'll figure that out as the week goes by. We'll have results from Leominster next week.
Well, we can have some stories with some updated cards. We'll make some
Hopefully
announcements.
we won't
regarding
take
the
out rows of chairs down there in Leominster. I mean,
you and Mr. Kennedy.
it could happen. We'll see if we get a microphone floating from the air. I don't know. We might see the moons, the skies, That's not yet. That's for another event. You got that? You got that commercial out there, Danny? Right before we wrap things up, we'll go to that and come back after it. Powerhouse Wrestling New England returns this Saturday night, March 23rd, at the Leominster Elks Lodge in Leominster, Massachusetts. On the card, the return of former WWE superstar Mr. Kennedy, Ken Anderson. Also in action, the real one, Enzo Amore. MLW star, ECW original Nunzio. The Powerhouse Wrestling Women's Champion is on the line when Evie De La Rosa defends in an open challenge. MLW's Ray Jazz, also the Puerto Rican Punisher Don Vega, and many more. This Saturday night, March 23rd, Elks Lodge in Leominster, Massachusetts, 134 North Main Street, 7:30 p.m. bell time. Get your tickets at Powerhouse Wrestling NE right now. Don't forget this Saturday night, March 23rd. Get your tickets now. Powerhouse Wrestling Live. Get plugged in. You better be there. So there you have it. That was it. This Saturday night in Leominster, Powerhouse Wrestling New England. Get your tickets online. Get your tickets at the door. You know, this has been a great show, catching back some of the highlights for Marchivesary 17. You know, we'll be back next week, like I said, with a guest and all the things happening throughout the week. Stay tuned to SP Wrestling. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. But for now, that's all we have. I am Don Vega. This is the boss, Chris Blackheart. We'll see you back here next Thursday in the Showcase Pod.